And hello everyone, my name is Daniel Frierson and this is another video about old PC hardware that has nothing to do with anything relevant in 2025. But here is a 2008 model iMac that belongs to a family friend. They would very much like this thing cleaned and de-bloated, sped up, repaired, so that it can actually still be used. Now, I warned them that when they mentioned that they had an old iMac, I told them if it was before the 2010 model, it's unlikely that it's going to be usable in 2025 anymore. I did warn them that if it was too old, there wouldn't be much that I could do to keep it going. And they said, no, it's not that old. So I was expecting a 2011, 2012 model. Not a 2008 model. Especially not the, what is this, the 19-inch model? Now, the 2008 iMac, I've messed around with these before, and there are three things wrong with them. The first is that they run on old mobile Core 2 Duos and Core 2 Quads. So that's annoying. I think they're DDR3. At least I'm hoping they're DDR3. Because I have plenty of that lying around, but it's, again, laptop DDR3, SODIMM modules. And they run hard drives, 5400 RPM. I've messed around with older iMacs before. One of the first ever iMacs I messed around on was a 2008 model, but that was in 2017, when they were still somewhat, usable. It's been a while since then. But I've got it all plugged in. What happens if I turn it on? Okay. And the fan has immediately gone to full speed. The fan has immediately gone to full speed. And I'm not seeing any life here at all. I was told this thing booted, it was just really slow. Please tell me that that wasn't like a year ago and that the drive hasn't died since then. Please tell me the drive isn't dead. I was told there was important files on this that I needed to keep. Oh, no, Apple logo. Something's happening. Oh, okay. It does in fact boot up. And Brother Control Center, that's for a printer. It has a lot of software on that hotbar at the bottom there. Okay, right, well, let's set up the camera and see what we can do. Right, I am not going to connect this thing to Wi-Fi just yet, so that can go away. Can we please go to About This Mac? And yes, it is DDR3, only 4 gigs of it, and it's a Core 2 Duo at 2.66 gigahertz. And this is the NVIDIA 9400 version of the iMac. That's the, is this the faster variant? I know the other one came with, like, the Radeon 2600 Pro or something, 2400? Okay, well, GeForce 9400's actually not bad. Where are we with our hard drive here? It is a SATA 2 drive. It only supports SATA 2. That is amazing. And it is a 7200 RPM hard drive, but it's only 500 gig. Yeah. Okay, so it turns on, and we do have the full user interface here, and all the personal files are still there. So I am going to image this drive to my Plex server just to have a backup of it in case anything goes wrong. And in the meantime, I will track down a 500 gig SSD to replace this hard drive, because I'm not giving this back to the person with a hard drive in it. Even with all of the macOS optimizations that Apple puts in, it's going to want that SSD for it to still feel a bit snappy. But from the looks of the dates on a lot of these documents, this actually might be that family friend's personal computer. Please tell me they're not still using this as their personal computer. That's a problem, if it is. So I have confirmed 3 things. It is indeed working. It is indeed loud. And it is indeed running off of a hard drive. Hooray. Now I get to clean it up and make it faster, which is going to be an interesting challenge when I have absolutely no idea where I've put my suction cups. That's okay though. I have a very, very thin metal pry tool. Alright. That is going to need a clean. That is going to need a clean. Oh, right, I should probably deal with the RAM before I go inside. If I remember enough about these models, I do actually have to take out the RAM first. Oh, someone's been in here before. These are the RAM pull tabs. They're not supposed to be there. And that's a stripped screw as well. Whose sticker is this? Doesn't say. There's a warranty sticker on here. And it doesn't say whose it is. I can feel things rattling around inside. This has definitely been taken apart before. That is not a good sign. I don't like it when I see that iMacs have been taken apart before, because so often they're put back together wrong. And this one appears to have been put back together wrong. Oh, there's actually screws missing. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's missing 4 screws. Oh, it's missing 5 screws. Missing one of the long ones as well. Oh my god, who took this apart? Who took this apart? Because they haven't put it back together right. Okay, nothing immediately jumps out as being a death trap, thankfully. We don't have anything out of place. The fan isn't completely clogged with dust, although it is dusty. The fuck are you? Where do you go? Down here? What are you? If this is a temperature sensor, that would explain the fan. Yeah, LCD temperature sensor. No wonder the fan's at 100%. It doesn't know what temperature the LCD's at. Oh! Is that the only problem with this thing? Am I going to take this off and find that there's no dust in here at all? Please tell me there's no dust in here at all. I really don't want to have to deal with the power supply. Oh, the LCD cable isn't even screwed in. That is supposed to get screwed in. People who took this apart years ago. It's a wonder that this person got a working system back from these guys. Right. This thing is actually pretty clean on the inside. I'm impressed. Well, I would be impressed if this thing was actually worth using in 2025. But oh well. Let's take a good look, see what we're dealing with. A loose screw on the inside. Please tell me that's the only one. It really is a wonder that this thing got sent back in working condition. I am quite surprised. Oh, try not to kill yourself on that power supply. Really? Why are you so stiff? Yeah, don't touch this. Seriously, do not touch that. Okay, Seagate 7200 500 gig, Apple branded. Year. Why is there no year on this thing? Yeah, doesn't say when it was made. Hooray. Hooray. But I don't think I'm going to have to actually take this apart fully to clean it anymore, which is good, because I don't want to have to take it apart to clean it. Although, I could take it apart to upgrade the CPU, which would be very tempting. What do we got? DDR2. DDR2. DDR3, but only 2 gigs. Don't want that. Oh, this one looks a bit modern. 2 gigs of DDR2. Okay, here we go. 2 4 gig sticks of DDR3. So those can go back in the system. Now, 500 gig hard drive is not really the best choice here. I need an SSD. I need an SSD. Huh. That's M-SATA. That Wi-Fi chip, that's not PCIe, that's SATA. Unless it's wired for PCIe. The reason I'm surprised is because I have an M-SATA SSD. I could just give it an M-SATA SSD, but then it would break the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So I can't do that, really. That was a joke. Okay, so I have spent some time Googling, and I have spoken to the owner of the iMac to see what they want doing. First of all, CPU upgrade, out of the question. The fastest Core 2 quad that I can put in here is only 2.3 GHz, which would be a bit of a downgrade depending on the application, because single-threaded performance on an iMac this old is actually kind of important. So we're staying with Core 2 Duo. Now, I had a look at the faster Core 2 Duos, because there are mobile Core 2 Duos that go up to 3.1 GHz, but those are pretty expensive. So that is a no-go. The SSD, I do have a go-ahead for, so I'll be waiting for one of those to arrive. As for now, I'm pretty sure I figured out why it was so loud, because the LCD temperature sensor wasn't plugged in. So that should fix that problem. I can give it 8 gigs of RAM, which is the most that this platform can support. Yes, you can get 16 gigs with 2 8 gig DDR3 SODIMMs. This motherboard does not support it, so we will be going to 8 gigs of RAM. And other than that, I'll just give it a clean and a bit of a software update and see what it can do. The more I look at this thing, the more it bothers me. I just had to fix this bit of plastic that covers the RAM, because these 2 middle screws, like the plastic bit was underneath it, they hadn't gone through the holes. I think this was worked on by a shop that may or may not have been called Proper Mac, because this thing has a password stickered to the bottom of it, and the label is Proper Mac. Propermac. So, if there was, at some point, a company called Proper Mac working on 2008 model iMacs, did you know what you were doing? There are screws missing. There was a screw loose on the inside. The LCD temperature sensor wasn't plugged in. I used to take these things apart when I was 18, and I at least put them back together properly. You guys were running a shop, I assume. Where was your training? That's because I changed the RAM. It's not happy. Oh, goddamn DDR3L incompatibility. So, DDR3L, let's explain. That is the low voltage variant of DDR3. It runs at 1.35 volts. In most cases, it's fine running at 1.5 volts, but apparently not on this Mac. It could also be because this is 1600 megahertz RAM. It might just be freaking out, not knowing what to do with 1600. Still pretty slow to start up, even though it's not panicking because it thinks it's overheating. One thing that iMacs love to do if they can't detect a temperature sensor is they step the CPU down to like no megahertz and assume it's overheating. I've had that problem before. I had a 2010 24-inch iMac with, what was it, first gen Core Series CPUs, I think it was. The temperature sensor for the CPU had failed. And the iMac just assumes it's overheating, so it doesn't go and... it doesn't let the CPU step up to its full frequency. It just clocks it down to like 400 megahertz, which is pitifully slow. Slows down the entire system, SSD or not. If you don't have the CPU frequency, your system is gonna be a snail. Oh, mighty iMac Wi-Fi, can you please connect? We are connected. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, this software is like 2011, 2013, some of it 2019. Not exactly the most up-to-date. There is so much on here I'm sure she doesn't need. Alright, so the only official macOS version this thing actually supports is macOS 10.11 by the looks of it. I might be able to get 10.13, but yeah, we're a bit behind on macOS versions here. Now, I might be able to update directly from the Mac, but I'm not too sure about that. Okay, macOS 10.11. This update requires macOS 10 version... Oh, this is only for... This is update to 10.11.6, not update 10.11. I need a different update file. Oh, screw you. Oh, finally. Can we install Lion, please? Yeah, just completely fumble the click. Open. Continue. Agree. Agree. Is it done? Do we have macOS Lion? Please tell me we have Lion. Also, if there is horrible background noise during this section, it's unbearably hot in here. I've turned on a fan. I'm sorry. And this is going to take 36 minutes. Is that the Core 2 Duo or the hard drive slowing me down here? Oh my god, it took so long. Yeah, it said 35 minutes. It's been 50. Yeah. Installing anything on a Core 2 Duo and a hard drive is... it's a game of patience. And I thought I uninstalled you. I could have sworn I uninstalled that. Okay, I'm going to go through the applications folder and try and get rid of that again. Okay, application update is working. That's good. Software updater is actually working now. Software updates are available for your computer. Show details. What wants updating? Everything wants updating. Okay. Canon, iTunes, Airport Utility, Migration Assistant, Mac App Store update. Well, that'll be why the App Store isn't working. Brother Printer software update. No! Well, it booted up faster than last time. Oh, finally. Hello, Mountain Lion. Is this going to be the exact same thing as Lion? Is it going to be the same thing as Lion? Are you going to complain? 3, 2, yep, there we go. So, this is the exact same thing that Lion did, and thankfully, there is a very easy way to get around it. Can we make this much bigger? Thank you. Install Lion, show package contents. Contents, shared support. Install. Yeah, there's a disk image inside the application to install it. Which is annoying as hell, but still. You just go directly to the installer, bypass all of this info and security checks and all that. And this is apparently a 2013 software. or at least a 2013 version of it. Just want to point out, this verifying step, we're not being held back by the CPU, we're being held back by the disk. The disk is managing a grand total of 60 megabytes per second for a brief second there. Oh god, this hard drive. This poor hard drive. I need to put you out of your misery. I really do. I can't wait for that SSD to arrive. For anyone considering an older iMac, I would recommend at the oldest end of the spectrum, the 2010, 2011 models. Don't go any older than those, but get the 27-inch ones. Or is it 24-inch on those models? Get the larger variants. For two reasons. I'm pretty sure they had 1440p screens, or very close to it. Additionally, much better speakers. Yeah, there was actually room for decent bassy speakers in them. They're pretty good. I had a 2010, I think it was a 10,1 iMac for about 8 months it lasted me. I used it to binge the entirety of Fairy Tail. Because it was just a really good screen for watching anime on. It popped. Like, iMacs, I really wish you could use them as external displays once the hardware is completely kaput. Because they look amazing. Even this one from 2008. It has a 16-something by 1050 screen. Like, that's a pretty high-res screen. It's still completely usable. It looks great. And the larger model for the 2008 one had a 1920 by 1200p screen. Like, these were high-res displays for the time. And they looked great for the time. And if you want a reliable machine that has amazing built-in speakers and an amazing display, you can't go wrong with an iMac. But you can go wrong buying any of the newer ones. Seriously, save your money, buy one from a few generations back. Especially if it was made within the last 5 years, it's still going to be getting plenty of software updates. It's still going to be plenty fast. And I think every iMac past 2018 has an SSD now. I don't think any iMac past 2018 has a hard drive anymore. There's no space for them anyway. Like, iMacs now are almost paper thin. I would like to point out that in the time it has taken to install Mountain Lion, I have managed to remove all the footage that I have previously recorded so far to my computer. I've taken it off my phone, put it on my PC, and then I went to edit it, and my PC crashed in a way that I have never seen before. Everything went really laggy. Then the mouse stopped moving, then the screen went black, but my music kept playing in the background for like 5 minutes before it finally decided, yeah, I've crashed, I need to reboot. So, I've never seen my PC do that before. And here we are, exactly where we left off. Okay. Now. How is the About My Mac? We are on version 10.8.5. And now it wants more Java runtime. Okay. This thing is years and years out of date. Oh, my downloads folder shows up now. Or the downloads folder, I guess. Can we access the App Store? App Store cannot verify secure connection. Would I like to connect anyway? No, loading bar. I think this is so out of date it can't authenticate the connection. That is possible. I could try... Yeah, that just opened the App Store again. I didn't tell it to do that. Never mind. Let me go to Downloads, and it's this one, I think. Can you open the El Capitan? No, it still can't open El Capitan. It's possible, that the download from Apple servers is damaged somehow. Okay, I have found a different El Capitan update image, so hopefully that one will work, but it's going to take a while to download because it's on a server that doesn't like me. Ah, this doesn't like Yosemite. Why? Why doesn't this like Yosemite? Oh, that took a long time to download. That took a long time to download. It's working! Okay. I probably could have just done this from the beginning. So, note to self and anyone watching this video. Apple's servers are hosting broken DMG files? I guess? Is it just going to work? Preparing. It is just working. This copy of the installation cannot be verified. Oh, this problem again. Can we just appreciate that this display and this PC was released in 2008? And this looks crisp and clean. I mean, it doesn't look crisp and clean on camera because interlacing and refresh rates don't match up properly. But we just appreciate how good this display looks. It's 17 years old. I have 17-year-old professional artwork monitors, or at least I've had them, that don't look this good. Oh, hooray, hooray, hooray! Okay. Upgrade or install OS X. Please work. You just gonna work? Yeah? Please? Now, I know a lot of you watching this video have probably already figured out that I don't work on Macs that often. And I don't. Which is why I don't have any installation media on hand. If I had had a bootable El Capitan USB from the beginning, we would have been fine. Right, install OS X El Capitan to the hard drive. I almost installed it to the boot SSD. Install it to our hard drive. And that should just automatically update the existing install, yes? Hope so. God, I hope so. I'm getting sick of working on this thing. This copy of OS X El Capitan cannot be verified. It may have been corrupted or tampered with. No, not again. Is this actually working? ThankYouArchive.org. Seriously, ThankYouArchive.org. Because this is the one place that has a trustworthy download and instructions on how to get rid of the "your file is damaged" error. Thank you so much, archive.org. Seriously, where would we be without you? Oh, we are finally done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are not signing in with an Apple ID, but thank you, thank you, thank you anyway. Yes, I would like to skip the Apple ID. That is for the owner of this system to set up. I assume they have an Apple account of some kind that they can sign into. We are not sending diagnostic data because that's just an unnecessary background process that a CPU this week doesn't need running. Okay, it again wants to install legacy Java, which I need to go to the website to install now. But we are running, finally, El Capitan. Now, at the request of the owner, I need to install High Sierra. Which is lovely. But can we have a look at about this Mac quickly? Please. Okay. Core 2 Duo, 4 gigs of RAM, GeForce 9400, and more things that I need to blur. We have 10.11.6, which is lovely. 1680 by 1050 display. Only the 20-inch model, I know. Storage is Can you tell me when you were made? No, it just says 500 gig SATA disk. 106 gigs of audio? Where is that stored? I don't care. I don't care. This isn't my PC. I don't need to find out. Right. In the 15 minutes that this has taken, my internet has gone off, come back on for 5 seconds, gone off, come back on for a few minutes, and then gone off again. And just as it's did it just back up? Did it just take a step back? Anyway, just as it's about to finish, my internet's finally back on again. So I don't know if it is server maintenance, or if this application is somehow screwing up my internet. Hello and welcome to macOS High Sierra. Let's go. Continue, agree. Actually, does this breach the Apple user agreement if I'm installing Apple software on technically unsupported hardware? Am I in breach of the user agreement? How is this going to take 33 minutes? Every time I do this, it's like 40 minutes. And I have to run this setup twice, by the way. Alright, the installer finished, and it's saying that no. It is saying no. And the reason it's saying no is because we need to install the patch. We need to patch the operating system now to allow it to actually boot. Which meant that I need to be holding down the Alt key, which I wasn't. Okay, and now we select our... It's detected that we are a 9,1. So we are just going to say we're a 9,1. I don't believe we need any of the other patches selected here, because it's just done it automatically for me. And we're just going to select this blank volume. It is very weird. There are a lot of weird things about this system. Why is the boot partition empty? The name of it is just the space bar. Is it done? Are we finally done? Oh, we're finally done. Hello, data and privacy. We're not signing in. Setup later. Why is it all the way up there? Why is the setup later up there? But all the buttons that you want to press are down here. Screw you. I have completely lost any enthusiasm that I might have had 12 hours ago. Yeah, it's been 12 hours. Enable Ask Siri. No, thank you. I'm not enabling Siri. Is this the first macOS version that had Siri? Incompatible software. Gutenprint and Growl. I have no idea what either of those pieces of software are. If that's a serious issue, then I'm in trouble. Alright. Now, if I open the App Store... Actually, can I open... Can I open my activity monitor, please? And just see if we're at 100% disk usage or 100% CPU usage? Because I'm not sure. We are at... Yeah, we're not at 100% CPU usage. We're at like 15. So this is disk. This is disk. We are being held back by the hard drive, and we're getting, what, 3 megabytes per second reads? What is this drive doing? Okay, well, I think all the exciting stuff is over, so let's cut now to me installing an SSD and some more RAM. It has been 5 days. Why did it take 5 days for the post to deliver an SSD? Seriously. It's an SSD. Why did it take 5 days? End user license agreement. Yeah, okay. We will be starting it up in trial mode, please. I need to install software to use this software. Are you serious? Okay, it's created a data volume. That I like. It's created an empty volume. That I also like. Is it going to be able to copy the EFI boot partition that makes APFS work on this machine, though? That's a good thing. Yeah, so in order for High Sierra or Catalina or anything newer than El Capitan to work on this machine, it needs an EFI boot partition that tricks the PC or the Mac into being able to read APFS boot partitions. So basically, this machine does not support booting from APFS file systems, but it will happily boot from an EFI file system. So you run an EFI file system that then boots the APFS file system, and then it's happy. It has been 2 hours and 49 minutes since this cloning task was started. We are down to the last 3,700 files, and from the looks of this, all of those files are emails. There are so many emails. Oh my god. The backup task completed successfully, but encountered errors while performing ancillary tasks related to copying files. Why? So if I open this, it should launch the APFS bootloader. No, that is a Windows boot partition. There's a Windows boot partition on that SSD? What? Wow. Right. Okay. Oh, there we go. You think it's good? I know you don't hear how loud this bloody thing is, but you think it's good? That refresh. That can't be right. No. It is. It has 18,000 hours of power on time. For a hard drive, that's genuinely bad. Okay, fine. It is just a SATA 2 hard drive, but my concern is that we are not reading its current transfer mode. We don't have any reallocated sectors or uncorrectable errors or really anything in the smart data that makes me worry, but this hard drive is clicking, and that is not good. So I am going to use macro and reflect to what the fuck just happened. The entire Windows UI just reset. Why? I'm going to use macro and reflect to copy over the entire drive to the SSD, and hopefully that will be the end of it, because I don't think I'm going to get another chance. I'm just going to point out here that this is either being slow because of the hard drives, or it's being slow because of the system it's plugged into. This is only a 2nd gen i3 with 4 gigs of RAM, so it's not exactly a kick-ass system here, but unfortunately the Windows installs that I have at the moment are... I only have drivers for this system right now. Ah, that is a problem. We are only detecting the Western Digital hard drive and the 2 SSDs. We are not detecting the Mac hard drive. I have a strange feeling that it gave up on trying to read it. I have a worrying feeling that that's what it did. Oh, that is a problem. That is a problem. We are only seeing the SSD and the hard drive that's already in the system. We are not seeing the max hard drive. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, right, what do I do to fix this? I do not know. Can I just double check that the max hard drive is actually, just being detected? Like, we had some interesting smart data when I was looking at it. Oh, we killed computer management. That's lovely. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to install macOS to the SSD from scratch and then restore all the user files from the hard drive if by some miracle it starts working. Yeah, this is not worked. You asshole. Come on, please. We are not getting the results that we need. I'm going to have to try something else. Okay, so the hard drive of the Mac is kaput proper, which is lovely, and we do not actually have a bootable partition on our SSD right now. There might be a way for me to fix that though. All the user files are on there. All of the user files are on there, which does give me an idea. I'm just going to quickly delete the Windows boot partition that's on here though, because that is in the way. Okay, let's turn off this mess and go back to the iMac. And here is an iMac. Oh, for the love of God, why did the hard drive have to die? Okay, so it's not detecting any bootable partition on the SSD anymore, which is good. We are only detecting the installer on the USB. That is correct. That is what we should be detecting. Okay. Okay, that took its time. Hopefully this is just going to work, yes? Yeah, I've read the software agreement. I want to install to new volume. Is that going to work? Unable to unmount volume for repair. macOS could not be installed on your computer. Why? Okay, let's try again. Let's just see if we can do it to new volume data. Why not? Does it like that? Nope. Okay, so we are going to have to wipe the SSD and restore from the hard drive. That's not good, because that hard drive does not like me right now. However, maybe it will survive. I don't know. Like, the iMac is able to boot off the damn thing. It must be functional to some extent. Maybe the iMac just doesn't care that the drive is kicking out errors. It's just patient enough to wait for that to sort itself out. I don't know. But that does mean I'm going to have to get the 12-volt power adapter for my external SATA adapter so that I can actually plug it into the back of this thing. Do I actually know where that is, though? That's a good question. Okay, you piece of crap. Let's go to the disk utility. And let's just erase the entire disk, why not? Okay, now the only hard drive we have is the iMac, right? It thinks there are other volumes on this thing, seriously? Screw you then. Please work. Oh, now it's happy. Okay. I sincerely do not know why it wasn't working a minute ago. Also, could I point out, this thinks it's only going to take 11 minutes. It took about an hour each time I was doing it on the hard drive. That's the performance difference from failing hard drive to SSD.
levels is to paywall the 4 new side characters. Sheila, Sergeant Bird, Bentley, and Agent 9. We'll be visiting each of these characters side...
Did this just restart? I wasn't looking, so I think it's either crashed or restarted. I'm hoping it's a restart. But I didn't get a chime. Where's my chime? You're supposed to chime, man. Like, error occurred. Oh, this is amazing. Okay. Error occurred because this is not Catalina. Oh, no. If this is how you want to play it, then okay. Okay, iMac. You're going to be a piece of shit, then I will respond in kind. EFI boot partition on the iMac's original hard drive. Please load. Okay. Good. So the original hard drive does still work. Enough to boot, anyway. That is good. Now I can actually try and get this to clone over again, I guess. Because I have no other alternatives. Hooray! Operation failed. Could not unmount disk. In use by MD worker shared. Why? Why is it in use? Why are you in use? What the hell? Right, now it says it's not mounted. Now can we please delete that partition? Volume, whatever. Thank you, it's all gone. Okay. I would like to set this as APFS, GUID, and we're just going to call this the iMac SSD. Because why not? Nice and simple. iMac SSD, erase the drive. Okay, now we have iMac SSD. Can we somehow restore it? Like, it won't even let me select any of the drives here, so I'm going to have to go into the bootable SS... I'm going to have to boot up to the USB again, aren't I? Okay, hello. Disk utility. Mac SSD. Can we please restore it from you? Could not, because doesn't have appropriate volumes to restore. Could not validate source invalid argument. Why? Okay, so by looking at the various forums for DOSDude1's Catalina patcher, which is what I use to install Catalina, it seems that just restoring is not an option anymore because of the way that the patcher works. Instead, I'm going to have to install Catalina from scratch, which means I will have to create a new Catalina bootable USB, which is going to be fine. And then I will have to install Catalina to the SSD. And then once I've done that, I can just use Migration Assistant to copy everything over from the hard drive. So I have spent the last 4 hours fumbling around when I could have spent that time installing Catalina. Actually, I would have been finished by now, probably. So that's fine. Ah, thank you. Can we boot into... I assume that's the installer? I don't know. Excuse me? I created an installer, not a recovery image. What the fuck is this? Oh, I'm confused. No, but like seriously, why is this a thing? Why are we in like a recovery image? What has happened? Okay. Seems to be working. Fine. Now we just run the post installer, apply patches, yes please. An error occurred. Why? An error occurred while applying patches. Why? Okay, slight issue post installation. The patches didn't apply, and then they didn't want to apply, and never mind. So we're just going to set up this. We're not going to connect to Wi-Fi because we are connected to gigabit Ethernet. This is probably just 100. I don't really care, but we want to from a Mac. Here we go. Migration assistant, please don't do me wrong. Oh, what do you know? This goddamn USB 3 adapter is the worst. Okay. Please work. No, that's my USB stick. Come on. Recognize the hard drive. Come on. Come on. Be nice. Yes. Yes. Please. Oh, would you look at that? It's working. I'm going to have to blur the screen again, which is lovely, but it's working. Let me just double check that it finds everything, because this should add up to 200 and something gigs. But it's already found the user profile, which is all I really needed it to find. So, let me explain. So, I have spent 19 hours on this thing the day that I picked it up, and throughout the night. I spent 19 hours straight getting this thing up to Catalina. And most of that time was wasted due to what is now apparently a failing hard drive, which is loads of fun to find out 5 days later. But in addition to that 19 hours that I spent on it the first day, I have spent 7 hours today trying to get the SSD set up. Now, I had a few false starts because it didn't want to restore, and I later found out that because of the way that Catalina is installed on this system, you can't just do a system restore from disk utility. But now I am just waiting for very, very slow failing hard drive over USB to do its thing. Yay? It is doing the job that it's supposed to do. Good. Now I'm going to go to the shop and get something that's either made of dairy or ridiculously cold from the freezer. Because it's a hot day and I need a drink. I think I'll go and get something to mix with this because I've got a little bit left over from when I had guests around and it keeps taunting me. Oh, it's going at 33 megabytes per second. Great. I turned around for 5 minutes and then the system just rebooted. I'm going to assume that it did everything it was supposed to because I have no other, like, if it didn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, that took 4 hours, man. That took 4 hours. Oh, that's loading quite a bit faster. Is it just going to load up and the entire UI is going to be exactly like I left it before? Please? And it slowed down. Why did it slow down? Why? Oh, I need a mouse. I need a mouse. Something is being read from the hard drive. Why is the hard drive being read from? Seriously? Why? Okay. Why isn't that moving faster? Oh, hello. Oh! It restarted and the migration is still going. It shouldn't find any incompatible software. I already removed all of that. I already removed the incompatible software. You're looking for nothing. Unless it complains that there's still printer software on there. I'm pretty sure I got all of that. So much printer software on here. Oh, data has been migrated and is ready to use. So is the system just going to be, you know, responsive and fast and usable now? Is it just a black screen? It's just a black screen. Great. I love black screens. Hello? What is this? No, seriously, what is this? Oh, it wants an Apple ID. Yeah, no thanks. I don't have Apple ID login details for this owner. I actually tried to guess their password while I was trying to install some stuff, and they had a go at me, rightfully. But, well, no, they didn't have a go at me. They were just concerned because I was trying to access their account. Kind of naughty of me, but I was trying to get the App Store to work, man. Can't blame me. If it requires an Apple ID and you don't give me the login details, what am I supposed to do? I'm not signing in with my ID. This isn't my machine. Well, that's interesting. System patches overwritten. Okay, well, reinstall? Nah, don't remind me again. Everything looks good. Are we snappy and nice and fast? Well, that loaded nice and quickly. Good. What about opening Firefox? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds to open Firefox. That is about 4 times as fast. Yeah, it took like 30 seconds to get Firefox installed. Well, to start up. It took 30 seconds to get Firefox to start up earlier. Now for a big test. Let's see what our system is doing in terms of RAM. Okay, CPU is busy. What is it busy doing? Who is using CPU? Oh, Firefox is trying to update. That's using quite a bit of CPU, but that's the only thing doing it. Okay. Memory, we are using about 3 gigs. Okay. I imagine the system really wants to use more than that, but it can't right now. And the disk is... The disk is just doing normal things. Yeah, we're barely doing anything on the disk. Cool. Okay, let's give this thing a bit of a clean up, because I have downloaded a load of things that the owner of this machine is not going to want on here. I can get rid of that, that's fine. I need to eject the old hard drive. Yes, eject all. Software update. Let's have a look at that. Now you see this system is actually usable now. Safari update. Okay. What a difference it makes just to install an SSD. Now, it's not just the SSD that's made the difference here, although the fact that it's an SSD is really helping. The fact that I've installed a working drive is making a bigger difference. But let's unplug this hard drive, because that doesn't need to be in there anymore. Jesus Christ, that thing is hot. Yeah, when a hard drive heats up, that means that the motor is doing an awful lot of back and forth, because the seek head on a hard drive, that's what puts all the heat into it. Because that motor is constantly switching rotation directions. And that induces a lot of resistance, which makes a lot of heat. And that hard drive especially, it's not happy, so I imagine that's where a lot of that heat is coming from. Okay, I want to point out this is a 2008/9 machine. This is the 2009 revision of the 2008 model. So it's not exactly going to be snappy and fast. But I can actually use the web now. Let's try watching one of my own videos. My channel isn't even in the top recommended anymore. That's what happens when you don't upload videos for like 3 years. It just disappears from search results. Right, filter by channel, please. Yeah, 5th one down. It's not exactly a unique name, though, so I suppose that's fair.
Cat food.
Let's enable stats for nerds, see how this thing's running. Okay, well, it definitely can't do 60 FPS. What about just 480p? It's even dropping a few frames at 480p. I would imagine that's mostly CPU that's responsible for that. Because I've tested this recently, on the channel in fact, when I was looking at the Core 2 Quad Q9300 Dell. Even when I put a semi-decent GPU in that thing, it still couldn't handle 60 FPS YouTube. So I think it is just the CPU architecture holding it back. But let's try watching a video that isn't in 60 FPS. Very few people upload in 60 FPS. Let's just see if it can handle, like, 1080p. Oh no, this is... Seriously? Diamondfall Elite uploads at 60 FPS now? Oh, that's 4 years ago. I gotta say, a few of the background elements are a bit slow to load in, but it's not, like, struggling. The system is about as responsive as I would expect for a PC of this age. And hey, full screen 1080p isn't dropping frames. Interesting. Okay, it's dropping like 1 frame every 5-6 seconds. Okay. That is interesting. So, in full screen, I imagine that gives this a higher process priority. But if you put it in full screen and you're not having to render the rest of the YouTube web page, it actually runs at 60 F. Well, it actually runs at 30 FPS 1080p. That is pretty good. Your iMac is up to date. Let's see if that is true. Where the hell is the App Store? Please stop changing your icons. You know what? I'll just leave it alone. Maybe it'll work on its own, and if I just give it time. The fuck, man. Okay, about 30 minutes of trawling through various Reddit threads later, and I found one from 5 years ago complaining of this exact same issue on macOS Catalina, and all I had to do was go into keychain access and reset it. That's all I had to do. Reset the keychain, and it is working now. So we actually have access to the App Store, and let's just random app. Like, what is an app that we would want? Let's just go to Discover and see what it says. Let's see. An app that isn't already installed would be good. CapCut. Can I get CapCut? Let me guess. I need to install... I need to log in order to in order to download a free app. Anyway. This is now working. Okay, so now all I need to do is wait for the RAM to arrive. Alright, now, final part of this iMac adventure. It took over a week, but I finally have 8 gigs of Mac-compatible RAM. What do I mean by Mac-compatible? It's just the regular DDR3, not DDR3L, not DDR3 1600. It's DDR3 1333 at 1.5 volts, I think. Beyond that, I don't know and I don't care. So, let us take out the old RAM. Actually, I think it's 1066. Is it 1333 or 1066? What did I order? What does this Mac support? I ordered this specific model compatible RAM, but I do not remember what. It has been a week, and this pull tab doesn't want to come out. There we go. See, this is DDR3 PC3 8500S. What has arrived? This is 4 gigs of PC3 10600S. So yeah, that was... So the original RAM was 1066, this is 1333. Okay, well, hopefully this works. It'll be good to get this Mac out of here and give it back to the owner. I am sick of keeping this thing in my room, it takes up too much space. But this is Samsung RAM. It's on the compatibility list for this iMac. So it should be as simple as getting this pull tab to not misbehave, plugging it in, and turning it on. And then I will have spare DDR3, which is good for me. So, are you going to be nice and actually turn on? Yes! What do you know? If you actually buy RAM from the Mac compatibility list, it actually works. So, with this RAM being 300 MHz faster and twice the capacity, I am expecting a marginal performance increase here. Or at least a usability increase. Because 4 gigs of RAM with Catalina, that was not working well. I mean, it worked, but that's about all it did. It wasn't exactly usable. Doesn't seem to start up any faster, but then again, that is just a limitation of the CPU accessing data from the SSD. Doesn't matter how fast your SSD is, if the CPU doesn't have the data throughput, it's not going to load up that fast. Yeah, I don't remember the keyboard shortcut to increase the brightness. I'm sorry. Oh, but that is max brightness? Seriously? I can barely see it. Then again, the sun is... Okay, fine. Fine. If that's the maximum that you can do, then that's the maximum you can do. Alright, so... Let's open... That's not what I needed. Let's open Activity Monitor, see how much RAM we're using. And we are already using more than 4 gigs. 2.5 gigs of memory used by apps and 2 gigs of cached files. So yeah, instantly it's using more than the 4 gigs it had a second ago. Let's just double check what speed this RAM is running at. It is running at 1333. Well, there you go. 8 gigs of DDR3 1333. It's not DDR3 1600, but then again, this logic board doesn't seem to support DDR3 1600. And we are running off of Wi-Fi, so... Okay, we are using just under 6 gigabytes of RAM, about 6.5, just sitting on YouTube here. So that's entertaining. Yeah, just about 6.5 gigs of RAM in order to watch a YouTube video. Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a small amount of RAM, 4 gigs. Hey, we're actually handling 1080p 60 FPS now. Okay, it's dropping the occasional frame, but it's actually handling 1080p 60 FPS now. It wasn't doing that before. What do you know, giving it more RAM definitely improves performance. Alright, well, YouTube works. Let's see what's up with Firefox. No, seriously, what is up with Firefox? No. Go away. No, seriously, what's up with Firefox? Okay, now it's opening. That's a little strange. That might just be a software incompatibility. But let's do the same thing here. Let's see if you can handle YouTube. I should probably do an internet speed test as well to make sure the Wi-Fi is working. I did notice while I was taking this thing apart over and over again that one of the Wi-Fi antenna cables was loose. So that was probably causing the Wi-Fi signal errors that I was getting. Or at least the Wi-Fi signal incompatibility. Or at least the Wi-Fi signal inconsistencies that I was getting. But hey, YouTube loads up at an acceptable speed. The CPU isn't completely pegged. Okay, sure, it's at 90% usage. Okay, now it's gone down to 70. It's not like this CPU is completely incapable of keeping up with 2025. It's just on the low end of what would be acceptable these days. In terms of raw performance, this CPU isn't behind all that many of Intel's mobile Atom CPUs. And Intel released mobile Atom CPUs for quite some time, and they became irrelevant quite quickly. Okay, looks like Safari is better at watching 1080p 60fps YouTube than Firefox is. Oh my god, we've already dropped 700 frames. 1,000 frames. Yeah, okay. Safari is better optimized than Firefox. What about Google Chrome? Now you see, this is the kind of process that's going to be slow on this processor. This kind of verification where it's doing advanced... Now, verification is a math process that I can't remember the name of. Anyway, when it's doing that kind of process, it might struggle. But, hey, how often are you going to be opening compressed files, eh? I mean, this definitely works. SSDs, man. What is using all the CPU on the user process? It is just disk images. So we close that. We close out of the Google DMG, which is here as well. Okay. Well, let's see what Chrome can do. Hello? Chrome? Okay, now we're running a virus scan of some kind, or a verification scan, and that is using a fair amount of the CPU's horsepower. Google Chrome is an app downloaded from the internet. Yeah, I know, but it's not like it's completely unsafe. It's Google Chrome. All their vulnerability patches eventually get there. They're not completely stupid over at Google. Although I would say with how often they start up really promising projects and then immediately defund them, I'd say that Google's executives in the marketing department are kind of full of themselves, promising us the moon and then never delivering. But let's see what Google Chrome can do on YouTube. I mean, yes, Mozilla Firefox and Chrome are both Chromium based, but this is Google, and YouTube is also Google, so maybe this will work better? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, loading up YouTube uses almost all the CPU. Hooray! It uses exactly all the CPU. And we are now using almost 8 gigs of RAM. Actually, I think we are 100 megs off of 8 gigs of RAM. Oh no. Yeah, we were definitely being held back by the RAM. Jesus Christ, my channel just does not appear at the top anymore, does it? Hey, is it me or is YouTube actually loading faster on Google Chrome? That felt faster than before. Let me quit out of Firefox and Safari, free up some resources. Okay, that's not the smoothest. Oh, it's doing about as good as Safari did. It's completely stopped dropping frames, actually. We're at 1080p 60 and it's flawless. Wow. How? We're using 7 gigs of RAM. Okay. And we are using about 80% of... Okay, about 100% of the CPU. Yeah, okay. 1080p 60 FPS YouTube is using anywhere from 80 to 95% of the CPU. That's not encouraging. And again, going back to much earlier in this video that actually it might have been cut out, I don't know, the editing process for this thing has been insane. There are Core 2 Quad mobile CPUs that you could put in this iMac. They're not exactly cheap. And I don't know how much performance increase you would actually get from them, because you would be taking a clock speed decrease for the 2 additional cores. So, I think it would actually be better to get the 3 GHz version of the Core 2 Duo for this iMac. Because this is only the Core 2... this is only the 2.6 GHz version of the Core 2 Duo. There were faster Core 2 Duos for this iMac, and I think those would be a better idea than a quad-core. Because single-threaded performance, that is important, especially on the low end. But hey, YouTube works. Let's do a speed test and see what that thinks. Okay, I should be getting about 90 megabits per second, but 70 over Wi-Fi isn't terrible. I mean, my Wi-Fi would happily do the full 90. Upload is pretty much exactly what it should be. Okay, so that's good. The Wi-Fi is definitely fixed. That is good. Your internet connection should be able to handle multiple devices streaming HD videos, video conferencing, and gaming at the same time. Yeah, provided your router can keep up with all that. I've seen some low-end routers struggle with multiple 1080p streams at the same time. And gaming. If you add gaming into the mix. Gaming, a lot of ISPs now give you routers that are pre-configured to prioritize gaming traffic. So gaming will be fine. That will be low latency, it won't struggle. But everyone else on the network's going to struggle because you're gaming. Because you're taking up all of the active resources of your router in order to prioritize the gaming traffic. Anyway, that's only over Wi-Fi. Over Ethernet, it doesn't care. But over Wi-Fi, it matters. So, I think that's it. I have done all I can. We have a much more up-to-date version of macOS. We have a much more capable SSD running that version of macOS. We have completely cleaned the internals of this machine, as well as cleaned the software, because a lot of it was incompatible, a lot of it was completely irrelevant, and there was a lot of things on here that no one in their right mind would have installed by choice. In addition to that, we've also doubled the RAM. So, I'm pretty sure I've done all I can for this machine. Yes, there were avenues I could have gone for upgrading this machine even further. I could have gone and gotten a Mac late 2009 motherboard to put in this machine that would have been socket 775. That would have allowed desktop Core 2 Quad CPUs to be put in here. And those aren't overly expensive, but it would have completely busted the allowed budget for this project. So that wasn't an option, but that is an option, because the chassis for the iMacs for the early 2009 models and the late 2009 models are identical. You could just put a newer logic board in here that supported better CPUs, if you were that inclined. Of course, I didn't go and get a mobile Core 2 Quad for this platform either, and that's because, again, it would have blown the budget. And realistically, if the budget had been about double what I originally quoted, then you could have gotten a late 2010 model iMac, the 24-inch specifically, that had the first generation Intel Core CPUs inside, and that would have been a more sensible upgrade here. However, the budget is the budget, and I did what I could do within that budget. So this is what I could do within the budget I had to work with, and I think I did a pretty good job, to be honest, because this iMac is much more usable. Yeah, there are a few softwares that crash out, and that is mostly because this iMac isn't really supposed to be running Catalina, and not everything is 100% compatible, but the vast majority of things work on here now, and once I give this back to the owner and they sign into all their Apple ID and iCloud and everything, it should be completely usable for them. So thank you very much for joining me on this journey of pulling teeth to get this machine in a working condition, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments down below on things I could have done better and time that I could have saved. But regardless, it's over now, and all I need to do is put all the desktop icons back where they belong and give this machine back to the owner. Because I'm done! I can finally get on to more interesting things. More interesting things such as this PC WinMax motherboard I picked up off AliExpress. Video coming soon.